the last two things that I want to talk about for data wrangling in Excel are sorting and filtering. So if you have some data and you want to change the order of your data, you use sorting for that. You can sort ascending, smallest to largest, or descending. Blanks always go to the bottom, so it's a good way to get rid of blanks. And numbers go before letters, symbols, and words. So if you're not careful, you can sort your column headings down to the bottom of your data, and you want to avoid that. You can sort by multiple columns at once if you use the advanced sorting features. And sometimes you might want to create an index column so you can go back to the original order. So what am I talking about? So let's go back to our examples here. So I've got these four columns, foo, bar, baz, and narf, and let's say I want to sort by foo. So I can simply click one cell in here, and I can ask Google Sheets to sort the whole sheet by column A, and I get this mess, right? So it sorts by foo, but then it also sorts all the other stuff that was around, and since foo comes after below, this even goes here. So this is not exactly what you want, but so I will undo. I really just want to sort this block of data, right? So I can go data, sort range. This is almost always going to be what you want. So pick sort range, I tell it as a header row, and now it tells me what I'm sorting by. So I can sort by foo, and then by bar, and then by baz. I sort that. So 1, 2, 3. So that sorts by foo. And then these are ties by foo, so bar sorts, so they're sorted by bar. And then there are no ties by bar, so baz doesn't actually end up influencing the sort at all. So that is interesting, but now I've lost my original sort order, right? So I'm going to undo again. So here's my original sort order. And if I want to be able to restore this, what I need to do is create a new index column. And that's often the leftmost column. So I create a new column. I'll call this index. And I'll call 1, 2. And you can use the autofill if you want for these sorts of things. That's fast sometimes and less error-prone than typing. So now I have a new column called index. So if I want to sort again, data, sort range. Data has header row, sort by foo, and then bar. And we realize that baz doesn't have an effect when we do this, so we'll leave that this way. So here's that order I had before, but now the index has been recorded, and so it doesn't, we could restore it. Also note that here on the right-hand side, then these did not change. So when we just select a range, nothing else changes. So these notes that I have from when I talk about filtering, those didn't actually change. They got out of order. So I'm going to have to resort this range by the order data. And if I want to kind of shortcut, I can do this too. So data, sort range by column A, and now it's back. So if you're lazy and you only need to do one, you can do that if you're careful and don't have top row. So that's how sorting works. Let's go back here. All right, now the next thing is filtering. Filtering is a super useful tool in spreadsheets. What you do is you define a rule that tells the computer what data you want to see, and then the spreadsheet hides the rows that contain the data you don't want to see. It applies to every row in the sheet. So if you're planning on filtering, then you shouldn't have anything else in the sheet but the data you're going to wrangle. However, this is really good, especially for big sets of data where you can get rid of anything that you don't want to work at if you just want to work on a subset of the data. So let's see how that works. If I can get it to work, there we go. All right. So let's say we only want to look at the rows where narf is B. So I can go up here to create a filter, or I can go to data, create a filter. So I'll do that. And now, since I had one cell selected in a block, it automatically figured out that this is what I want to do the filtering on. Note, so I had this blank column here, so it didn't look at any of this stuff. If I hadn't had this blank column, it would have included these over here as well. So I only want rows where narf is equal to b. So I click on the little triangular looking thing next to the column name, and this lets me tell my filter what I want. So filter by values is oftentimes the easiest. So I clear everything, nothing selected, and I only want B's, so I check that. The default is select all, so the other thing I could have just done is unchecked A. So now I'm going to see only B's. So hit OK. Now look, this is filtered out. Let's see, 1, 3, 5. So over here on the row numbers, you can see which rows are hidden. And then you can see that some rows have actually disappeared. So they're not deleted, but they are hidden. So there's the side effect here, is that stuff to the literal side, in this case, is gone as well. So that's what I was talking about when I said if you have other things you need, like a chart. If there had been a chart with its upper left corner, one of those, it would have disappeared as well. So this is handy. Narf of only B is visible. And we can turn it off again by selecting all, hitting OK, and that will go over there. In Google Sheets, you have to hit OK. In Mac and PC Excel, you often don't have to hit OK. You just tell it to do the filter, and it automatically updates immediately. So there's other kinds of filters too. So if we're looking at bar here, instead of filtering by values, because if there's like decimals, for example, there might be millions of different values, we can filter by condition. So I could say I only want to see values of bar that are less than or equal to 6. And if then I hit OK, then row 5 went away, because everything else in bar is less than or equal to 6. You can combine filters, right? So we can get rid of the narfs that are A again, and now, again, only those are the only ones that are visible, although that was redundant in this case because the other one was an A. So that's how filters work. I hope that makes some sense. We'll be doing a fair amount of filtering in this class.